Trinity of Sin, Pandora, number 2, written by Ray Fawkes, art by Daniel Sampier. So, last issue was basically just full-on intro and backstory. By the way, this is a tie-in to Trinity War, which technically this whole series has been, but regardless, this is the first of the actual, hey, let's do something here. So we pick up in Egypt with Pride and Envy, and they're talking and saying, by the way, Pride, Pandora's gonna try to open the box and she's seeking to erase us. And Pride's like, psh, whatever. I don't care. She can't stop us. But either way, go and try to delay her. This is my design. This is my plan to stop her. So that doesn't come back. So if you remember in Trinity War, Pandora met up with Superman and Wonder Woman. And at the part where they met up with, we see that not only do we have Shade following up on the super explosion stuff that happened, but also Argus is there. And they're both vying for whose jurisdiction this actually is. And we see that the difference is Shade deals with parahumans, whereas Argus deals with metahumans. What's the difference? I don't know. But regardless, they're trying to figure out, because of these energy readings, whatever, it should be one or the other. And they're basically just arguing about jurisdiction the whole time. But we see in Baltimore, we have Pandora meeting up with a guy named Marcus, who's, I guess, basically her magical arms dealer and has a whole bunch of magic stuff that she's going to use and take into battle. And she's like, yeah, no, I don't want any of this to happen, but I've got a feeling that I'm not in control of this anymore. So then we cut to some place. I don't even think it says where, but we have Vandal Savage, Signal Man, and Giganta, who are apparently all members of this secret society thing going on. And it's like, yes, Argus has classified Pandora meeting up with Superman killing Dr. Light as a super crime. So therefore, we gotta investigate that. And Signal Man's running over all these signals, and Vandal Savage is like, can you find Pandora? And it's like, why Pandora? It's like, oh, she's trying to use the box. She's trying to open it up. So at that point, they're trying to track down where Pandora is. Signal Man's like, no dice. She's been off the grid for too long. And then they start talking to each other about, what does the secret society want from us? We're just blindly following these orders. And Vandal Savage is like, I follow no orders. I am Vandal Savage. You would tremble to know what I'm thinking. So Pandora sees on the news that, Superman killed Dr. Light and all that. And she's like, did you do something to Superman, Pandora? And it's just like, no, but I did. I don't know. It's kind of a blur whether or not this is my fault or not. But regardless, Superman was the only person who may have been pure of heart enough to open up the box. So I'm just ditching that side of things entirely. And we're going to go with the other side, where I need to find someone of the darkest of heart. And I've got a pretty good idea as to who that could be. So she suits up and heads out. And we see Signal Man suddenly gets a blip on his radar saying where Pandora is. It's literally right next to him. And Signal Man's like, haha, I'll give her a seizure so that way we can take care of her. And he just does some light powers and nothing else happens. And then Giganta, of course, does what Giganta does, grows up and just smashes her into the ground. And then as she starts to try to crawl away, does it again. And as she is about to go for the third time, we see a knife come out of the dust cloud, explodes in her eye, and he's like, oh, geez, Pandora's really capable of taking us all out. So then Vandal Savage comes in and is ready to fight. Signal Man's just throwing out all these statistics of she has some kind of mystic energy and she's ignoring all of these injuries she has because she's that good. So Vandal Savage starts fighting against Pandora. It's a pretty even fight, all things considered, until eventually Pandora pins down Savage and he basically holds a gun to his head and he's like, you won't do it. You don't have the guts. And she's like, try me. Blows his brains out. And Signal Man's like, oh, Jesus, you killed him. That's insane. But of course, he's Vandal Savage. He immediately fixes himself. He gets up and he grabs Pandora and just be like, psh, I was willing to just let you leave before, but now you've outrun my sympathy. So you're going to give me that box or I will destroy you. And Pandora's like, Yeah, that was my plan too. You know, maybe we should talk before we start punching each other. That seems like a good idea. But regardless, her plan is Vandal Savage, I've seen you throughout the years. You've always been a prick. So I figured that you might be able to open this box. So here you go. And Vandal goes to open the box. But of course, he is not purely dark of heart. So it blasts him away. And she's like, psh, you still have a conscience, you pansy. And he's like, I didn't mean it. So he just leaves. She just leaves because screw it. Vandal's a bit upset by the fact that he's not pure evil. But then we see back at the Argus field office, the Shade agent is also there, and it turns out this is now an interdepartmental job. It involves metas and parahumans, so they're both in on it, and they're like, all right, so what do you know about Pandora? And it's like, oh yeah, she's this mythical figure, blah, blah, blah. They go through the whole thing. And basically the Argus agent has the full story saying, like, now she may or may not be the one, but regardless, she's real. There have been sightings of her, and she's somehow involved in this. So right now, Pandora is target number one of both of our agents, and we got to take her out. So both Argus and Shade are after Pandora. Pandora has decided, screw looking for pure of heart, I'm going for darkest of heart, and that seems to be it. She's also really good at fighting. It's fine. It's an okay. I mean, as a tie-in to Trinity War, not great. It doesn't feel like this feels like its own thing, which it should be. You should not have a tie-in be issue number 2. Like, no, take time to develop your characters first. There was no need for this to be here. Yeah, it's a whatever story. I'm not all that impressed by it, but then again, it's Pandora. I don't think it's possible to be impressed by Pandora. So I'm going to give this one I want to say like a 5.5, but that sounds too harsh because it's not awful. So I will give it a 6, but I refuse to go higher than that. So a 6 for this. We'll see if it improves once it doesn't have to do Trinity War anymore, but not holding my breath.